family, and the town he called his own. Departed through the cosmos where no earthly siege saw. In search of that elusive he gave his life to try. How the space force goes orbiting by. By my friend, in the glowing twilight's cry, and then we'll echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Though we miss you on Earth, we're lifting hearts up high as the space course goes orbiting by. In the vast cold silent night, amidst those ancient stars, he drifts without an anchor. No more battles, wounds, or scars. His story known by every heart that ever wondered why. How the space course goes.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Stoney coming to you live from the TCM Museum of Minnesota. It's Friday night, so you know it's another new live episode of the Space Corps podcast. Thanks for hanging out. If you like what you see and you want to support the show, of course, shout out to the sponsor of the page, our co-producer, Brett Gill, Mr. Gilly, with the TCM Fan Club. Check that thing out, man. 100% free. He's poured his heart, sweat, tears into it. Any kind of a Texas Chainsaw fan, this is the end-all, be-all place for everything, including an old-school message board. Pretty cool way that kind of predates all the MySpace, Facebook, whatever the hell we do nowadays. You want to support the show? Merch page is open, baby. You can get the podcast, TCM Museum. You can even join the Space Cadet Army. Go to shop.spacecorpspodcast.com. Enough of that bullshit, though. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to have this man on. He is literally the most legendary, and I will stick by this damn word, cinematographer of our generation, of our goddamn time. Mr. Daniel Pearl is on tonight. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm good, and it's very kind of you to say so. I think you've perhaps over-touted me a little bit, but I certainly have made my mark, that's for sure.
I had a rambling list of your resume, and I just don't think I can say it with enough justice. I mean, it's unbelievable what you've done in your career. I mean, we're talking, is it up to 400 music videos you've been involved with?
Just short of 500.
Jesus
And
Christ.
that's not my number. Somebody else actually counted them. It's not me just pulling a number out of the air.
I mean, we're talking 250 commercials, but not only have you been involved in, Alien versus Predator, the Requiem film from 2007. We got the Friday the 13th from 2009.
Which is, of course, recent. It's still the most recent Friday the 13th. Yeah.
It is, which is absolutely surprising for one of the big heavy hitter,
really surprising
horror movie franchises.
Yeah.
And then of course you've had some involvement with some TCM movies too, which is amazing as well. So, it's again, I'm very humbled you come on for this, and I'm not here just to kiss your ass, but holy shit, man, you've done a lot of stuff in your life, and I just can't wait to pick your brain. I know a lot of people got some questions. We are live on YouTube right now, so anybody that's hanging out can get in the chat, ask questions, add to the banter.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm happy to answer questions.
Excellent. And then of course,
it's hard to get me to stop talking about.
That's all right. That's what I like, And then we re-upload this to YouTube as well as Rumble and Spotify, so everybody can watch it on their favorite platforms as well. So,
Cool.
So I'm a horror guy at heart, but originally music is everything to me. And once I really started looking further into everything you've done, it was jaw dropping. I mean, from when your first involvement in music wise, where does that place it? Mid 80s? Who did you start with?
No. It was earlier than that. It was right when MTV was starting. It was only in New York at the time. It wasn't even in Los Angeles.
All right.
But early into it, the very first in that era, I mean, I had done a few of what would be called music videos.
Sure.
But in what you want to call the MTV, what we should think of as the MTV era, that started with Bryan Adams' Cuts Like a Knife. But within 2 or 3 more jobs, I was shooting Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, Police, Every Breath You Take.
Yes.
And just, it really was an incredible time. very creative. Everybody wanted to do something new. In fact, that was the only rule, that it had to be something that perhaps hadn't been done before.
Sure.
And it's funny because when the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was released, I was 23 when I shot it. 24 was released.
Okay.
I remember driving down the highway one day going, thinking to myself, God, how cool is it that, you turn on the television, people are talking about my film. You sit down in a restaurant, you'll hear people at the next table talking about it. And I'm going like, fuck. And I realized, oh my God, wait, some people, their whole careers, they never have this kind of recognition on a film. My very
Yeah.
first film, I'm 24 years old. I said, "Oh my God, what if I peaked?"
Yeah.
And it never to hit this height again. Well, I'm very fortunate that music videos found me
Yeah.
by way of the biggest director at the time in music videos was a guy named Russell Mulcahy.
Okay.
He went on to direct Highlander, but this is before he'd done any features. He was a huge Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. He also made the film Razorback.
Oh,
That was his
okay.
Australian tribute to Chainsaw, right? And he was a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Actually got I don't have to worry about my language here, do I?
No, hell no.
Okay. No, so he got fucked off one day on a shoot in Los Angeles, and as he's fucking, I'm out of here, and as he's storming out the door, he turns. That's the way the story goes. I'm told. He turns back and he goes, "If you want me to come back to work, get me the fucking guy that shot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre." And out he goes. Well. Shortly thereafter that, my phone rings. Is this Daniel Pearl? Yeah, the Daniel Pearl that shot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Of course, I laughed. I mean, how many Daniel Pearls could there be?
Sure.
We later learned there was another one, but anyhow, and so they said, "Well, could you please come to the Chateau Marmont, a rather notorious hotel there on Sunset Boulevard in here in Los Angeles?"
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, sure. And next thing you know, I was shooting music videos with Russell Mulcahy, who, when we finished that job, we did a process called a telecine where you transfer the film. We used to shoot on film in the old days and then transfer it to video, and they would edit on video. That's why they're called music videos rather than music films. Like,
Okay.
all the post-production was done in video because it was faster, cleaner, just a better way to go.
Mm.
And so he when we were done, he goes, "You did a really good job. Come on." He took me to a party and introduced me to all the other English producers and directors that were here in Los Angeles at the time, because there were no Americans yet actually making music videos. It was strictly an English industry.
Sure.
And he introduced me to everybody, and immediately they were signing me up, like I said, to shoot Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, Police, Every Breath You Take, and it just it just took off from there, and
Oh, wow.
it's perfect for me because I'm not big on proper uh, protocol, large crews. I've done one $25 million picture and one picture for about 45 million, but by and large I'm happier on smaller budgets where it's not so, I'm more of a renegade. That's why I was the perfect guy for music video.
Yeah.
Because I was just, I'm just a crazy fucking guy. Just go out and do, as long as we're doing something cool, as long as it's going to be great. Yeah, I'm with it. Whatever it is, let's go.
Yeah.
So
Do you like the fact that the project itself is, you're working on something that's, 3 to 5 minutes versus,
yeah.
just the your time taken up for it?
Well, I mean, that's part of it. But depending upon, well, it's a strange thing, because as a cinematographer, when you're doing features, those jobs come in blocks of somewhere between 2.5 to 5 months, 5 to 6 months of your time
Mhm.
working on them. The ones that I do. I mean, yes, there are shorter ones. There are some that are shot in 5 days. There's some shot in 10, 15 days, whatever. But I wouldn't take a picture that was less than 25 days because I just feel like it's a race. And
Mhm.
I'm fortunate because I was able to be involved with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre early, and then from that hit, into the music video world, just killing it there as well. I won the first ever MTV Moonman's, one of the two of them back there. I think it was that one. Uh, and I have 9 nominations. Although I haven't really done a music video in the last 10 years, 10,
Yeah.
12 years now. I've done one, and it was nominated, but not for me. But as a cinematographer, I am the most nominated cinematographer in MTV history. Like I said, still, and I really haven't made him in 12 years.
That's unbelievable. I
Nobody's
mean,
caught.
everybody, there's just if you look up the list of every music video, it's just like again and repeat with these artists
Well,
too. I mean, it's
if I toss a few out there for your fans in case they haven't been doing their homework and studying up, I would say that, of course, as I mentioned it already a couple of times, Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, one that people may have never seen. Michael Jackson, "Give In to Me." It's with Slash, the guitarist from Guns N' Roses. I did 6 or 7 uh, videos with Guns N' Roses off of Lose Your Illusion.
yeah,
Well, I would
November
say
Rain,
that
of course,
November
being one of them.
Rain, Don't Cry, I think is something I think is a very cool video as well. Let's see, Police, Every Breath You Take, Wrapped Around Your Finger, about half of Mariah Carey stuff,
Yeah,
this most recently, the remake we did 25 years later of All I Want for Christmas Is You,
yeah,
for that, and a lot of Shania Twain's videos, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Um, and God, just boy, oh boy, You Too, With or Without You. Uh, Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out Loud.
yeah,
Um,
and then yeah, you
that,
get into the
that's
pop side. I mean, and the hip hop. I mean, Jay-Z, Kanye. I mean, Diddy. Holy God,
yeah.
one
Well,
thing I saw I wanted to ask you about too is that you actually have credited on directing one for Mariah Carey and one for Aaliyah. How did you like that versus what you've always kind of been, obviously was outside of your realm a little bit. I mean,
that's a very interesting question. I'm going to try not to get too deep into it, take too long on it. Um, Basically, the way it came about was. Uh, I had been filming. Let's see. I was filming somebody in New York. Oh, Mary J. Blige.
okay,
I was shooting Mary J. Blige in New York, and the director, who I'll leave nameless, was not doing anything. In fact, this is a long time ago, and when phones didn't work in elevators, and every time we tried to ask the director a question, he just like he had a phone call, and he'd just stay on the phone until I answered the question for everybody. He'd move on the scout, right? And we didn't know this until we're in Manhattan. It's a video where she's both a clothing designer and a runway model, right?
okay,
Well, Mary J. Blige, I love her to death. I mean, she's one of the greatest, people. And but Mary J. Blige, she does not walk like a runway model. She comes walking down the runway like, motherfucker, I'm gonna kick your ass. It's like, you know. But anyhow, we were making that video, and he started. We tried to talk to him in the phone while we're in the elevator while we're on this tall built skyscraper in Manhattan. And as he said, no, 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 we realized, oh my God, phones don't work in elevators. So so that happened. Then from there, I went to Miami to, to film a video. Tony Braxton was going to direct herself. And it was her getting ready in the morning, coming out of the bedroom into her, very nice vanity bathroom,
uh-huh,
and getting ready in the morning with some tricks, but appear to be one continuous shot, but with
okay,
some cinematography tricks. Well, she again, wonderful artist and a great person to work with, but not a film director in any way that could. So I had to basically figure out these transitions and make that work, which
hmm
is okay. It's a cinematographer's thing, but basically the concept, I directed it. Well, while I was there, I get a phone call from Aaliyah's manager. Um, and uh, he says, Aaliyah, I had done her, photographed her video for 1 in a million.
okay,
And he rang me up, and he and I were long associates, and he goes, Aaliyah, um, she called me up and she said that she wants you to direct her next video. That she figures you had all the good ideas and that you should be the director. Now she didn't know anything about me. She didn't know anything else I'd done other than that I was the cinematographer of her video
yeah,
that day. And so her brother had written a treatment for a 4-page letter. And I took, no, excuse me, he'd written a short story.
hmm
Sorry. I took his short story and turned it into a film treatment written with shots and setups and description of the visuals as well as the storytelling part of it. And and went out to shoot it. And uh, then uh, a similar thing happened with Mariah. Mariah had a video to do the remix for Honey,
Mhm.
and she made the same declaration that you had all the good ideas. And she goes, and Daniel, somebody told me that you're directing videos now. She goes, like, you didn't tell me this, Daniel.
Yeah.
And she then declared from now on, Daniel's doing the videos, which I did do 2 videos for her, and I enjoyed them immensely. What made me stop it, and I'm sorry if the story went on too long, was
No,
that
this was awesome.
uh, all of a sudden, there were 2 directors, Hype Williams, was the king of hip hop, right? And I did all these hip hop videos with him, including what's considered by Rolling Stone magazine and by everybody to be the GOAT in hip hop is Missy Elliott, Can't Stand the Rain, Superfly. I can't stand
Really?
the rain. Yeah,
Oh,
we did that together.
God.
And uh, I got a couple of goats. I've been fortunate about that. That's considered a goat. November Rain probably is the rock and roll goat as far as music goes. A
Yeah.
Beyonce piece that actually was asked to photograph, but I was halfway around the world and couldn't get to New Orleans in time. Has replaced it as the most watched video of all times. So I almost got that one. Anyhow. I shouldn't dwell on that. I got plenty enough to talk about without doing that. What happened was I noticed that except for Hype Williams and Marcus Nispel went on to direct
The
uh,
TCM.
the TCM remake and also the Friday the 13th remake. He directed both of those films, Marcus did. And Marcus and I are like brothers, and we understand camera movement, composition, and feel the same way about what works in light and in these areas. And so it's a really good marriage, he and I.
Sure.
And so that's such a strong relationship that he's not afraid of me because he's a way better director than I am, as is Hype Williams, or than I was, as is Hype Williams. And so consequently, those guys were not threatened. Everybody else dropped me. I mean, I wasn't all of a sudden I wasn't shooting for anybody else, and
Okay.
I'm not a writer. It's not really my thing. And so eventually, now I'm seeing reflected in people's eyes my lighting setups that directors are given to other cinematographers since I'm not shooting for them. And I realize that, well, this is not really my thing. I'm not really a director. I'm a cinematographer. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't. I mean, I'm a shooter. That's what I am. I'm a left-handed person, and we have certain advantages and certain disadvantages. Our verbal skills and our literature skills are not that strong because it's all written wrong, all going the wrong way for us. It's just a conundrum from the beginning.
Sure.
I mean, you learn to sort of to navigate your way around it, and certainly over time, um, you get much better about communicating. But when you're young and stuff, it's a bit of a difficult thing. But at the same time, it also gives us a very different perspective on things. I can tell you, there've been many, many times of standing there on a set when we go, oh, what this, that, what are we going to do next? And it's something will just come to me, it just hit me out of nowhere, and everybody would just stop and go like, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just came here. It's like it's sort of I can sum myself up as I would never was a very studious student that would sit down and prep for weeks ahead of time or whatever or write. If we had a paper to that report that was due, I would
Yeah.
stay up all night long the night before it was done and bang out something
Yeah.
on an old school typewriter and hope I didn't have to erase too many things and wear a hole in the paper and have to start all over. But what I am was one fucking hell of a test taker. I'm a really good test taker. And that's sort of the same reason why I tell you why I'm really not that happy on big budget features.
Yeah.
Certainly could have gone down that path if I wanted to fall in line that way, right? But it's not what I wanted to do. And so um consequently I'm the crazy lunatic that I am. That's why I wound up doing so many music videos, and with Marcus Nispel, hundreds of commercials. Most of the 250 commercials are also with Marcus Nispel.
Dang, I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, when he brought me on. He was a king of one of the top guys in commercials when I started shooting for him. I was very happy. He and I, we were doing 200 days a year shooting commercials all over the world.
Wow.
It was incredible. It was really, really, really good.
So
You
how
know,
did you meet him, Marcus?
he was aware of my work. He had his producers track me down. I mean, when directors see something they like, they right away ask who shot that.
Sure.
He was also doing music videos, so there's no way he wasn't, made aware of me. I was so
Yeah.
happy.
You guys are two within the universe, so you can't not
Yeah.
collide and meet.
Uh,
So
exactly. The only collision that never happened there was Fincher. Um, it almost happened. I'll tell the story.
yeah,
David Fincher, there's a tool called the Luma crane or remote or Technocrane. It's a remote head where you turn this wheel to pan it, you turn this wheel to tilt it, and you sit there, and the camera can be hundreds of feet away from you, and it's out on the end of a big boom arm, could be 50 feet long, and they're swinging it around, and you're panning and tilting and making the shots. Well, it's a specialist thing, which is actually it's a old school technology that I had to know because when I came up in film, the blimp cameras, the sync sound cameras that you could shoot sync sound with a 35 millimeter weighed 160 pounds. Well,
okay,
that's you can't be playing with that on a fluid head. That took this big machine,
sure,
geared machinery head to move it. Well, you did it by hand. You turn the wheels by hand. Um, so when these remote cranes got invented, it required that technology. So I was brought in to shoot with a bunch of entirely all documentary guys on a Fleetwood Mac concert in St. Louis because I had this technology that could work a crane. Because also, this is actually before even a remote, but the turret on a crane that turned you and the camera and the assistant and the director, if he was on it,
yeah,
everybody together, that also was turned by this same technology. So knew how to do this. And that's why I was hired and brought in. Well, I emerged as the guy who knew what the fuck he was talking about on the Fleetwood Mac shoot, and immediately that company just decided from now on I was the director of photography on everything. They handed out too much filtration to us. They gave us a fog filter and a star filter on 16 millimeter with a bunch of backlight and a lot of smoke. And I said, guys, that's going to look horrible. This is going
yeah,
to be totally milked out. And the director, he'd never worked with me before because I was brought in to be a specialist on this camera. He doesn't know me. He turned to the other guys. He goes, what do you guys think? And I go, oh no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Well, a week later, in the end, we didn't use the crane that they brought me in for. They put me on a dolly right down the side of the stage. I was a big Fleetwood Mac fan, and shot the fuck out of this because I just knew this. I knew what was going on. I knew when the lead was going, when it was going from the vocal to the guitar. I knew
right,
when it was
yeah.
coming back from the guitar to the vocal, and I was just right there, boom, boom, and just making these shots, and just picking it apart. So when I went to pick up my paycheck, the person at the desk said, "Well, Jerry, the producer director, he wants to speak to you. He wants to give you the check personally." I said, "Oh, really? Like, is it something I don't know?" He's very happy, but that's why he wants to. So I go in there, and he sits down, and he starts to tell you, "Man, I can't even tell you. Your work was so incredible." And as that happens, the phone rings. He picks it up, is the manager of Fleetwood Mac. And he go, yeah, well, thanks. And then suddenly he gets this look like, what the fuck? And his eyes snap on the eyeballs go right to me.
Yeah.
Right. And then he goes, okay, well, I'm sorry. He hangs up the phone and he goes, you told me not to use those filters, didn't you? I said, yes, I did. He goes, yeah, they don't like it. It's too fucked up. From now on, you shoot everything.
Told you.
Yeah, I told you. Uh,
God, that's
anyway.
so.
So I'm sorry, I digressed away from horror a long way there, but
No, no, this is not a horror specific at all. I'm so intrigued by all this. So, kind of going back now with that story and with that question about directing versus just the cinematography aspect of it. Did it feel a little bit more like less restrictive because when you directed, you could call the shots, you weren't being overridden.
that's what my motivation was initially, was that, I didn't want to be shooting a close-up of somebody's eye ball while there was a glorious sunset going on,
Uh,
which, and there were and I wanted to be doing what was right for the light. And yeah, on Aaliyah, 4-page letter, I did that. I went and I spent 2 days on my location, and I planned out exactly what time the sun was where I wanted for this shot, that shot, that shot, and we went ahead and shot just like that, bang, 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 bang. And see, because especially in the film days, it's not so much now in digital because it has such a latitude meaning that the difference between the brightest thing in the frame and the darkest thing in the frame is way more manageable than it used to be.
okay.
It used to be that if something was a little bit bright, it could just be blown out and have no detail captured on the film unless you stop down, in which case the things that are in shadow might just have no detail and go all black chunky,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Sort of like my shirt looks like now, like your shirt. Like your shirt now has got no detail on the camera. There's no folds, although I'm sure it's got some folds in it, but I can't see that. So you want to be able to see detail in highlights. You also want to be able to see detail in shadows, if that's what you're after.
Yeah.
Well, cameras today are infinitely more able to capture that. But in the old days, we really had to deal with that. Um, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure why I went down this particular
Dude,
road. You got to
no.
help me. What was I talking about?
God, you know what? We're moving on to another question because I'm at the top of
Okay,
my
go
head
ahead.
too. So what is your opinion on how the technology has evolved? Are you more like old school where you're like it's nothing like it used to be and I would take old school setups, or was it more exciting that, newer technology, better tools, you could actually produce, visuals like you could never do before?
I'm in favor of both, and
Okay.
here's how we mix them. Okay, I'm not one of these guys that's so precious because I'm not doing the 50 million, $100 million pictures,
Yeah.
shooting VistaVision or shooting, IMAX, right? I don't shoot those pictures, right? So for me, the reach, the sensitivity of digital cameras now is so far outweighs what film can do. That just makes shooting easier.
Okay.
And there's a lot to be said for making the process easy. See, the lighting crew, right? Which in the old days when it was filmed, we had to light fucking everything. There was
Yeah.
not enough exposure anywhere. Day exterior, yeah. But anytime you went inside any place, there was not enough uh, light so everything had to be boosted and lit. Well, now that's not the case at all. So you can still get a look out of things, and things become much more naturalistic because since you don't have to light, there's enough light, then suddenly you're shooting in natural available light, and so it's going to look like natural available light. Less likely to have a stylized look if that's what you're after,
Mm,
but very valid in terms of storytelling. Like, for example, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Very documentary in style because lighting wise, I'm going to tell you the thing about it. Those people out there in the audience that know about ISO or ASA will be mind blown by this. I promise you, right? Um, uh, at the time that we time we made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Uh, we had to shoot it on 16 millimeter. There were very few lightweight 35 millimeter cameras in existence in the world,
mhm.
maybe a dozen, and we were certainly not of a budget high enough to command one of those cameras.
Sure.
We would have been shitting ourselves anyhow because I'm sure we couldn't have afforded it. Basically, 16 millimeter of 35 millimeter cost a lot more than 16 millimeter. First of all, the negative is 4 times as big, right?
Mm, okay.
And so therefore the for by the second or by the minute or by the whatever, it's 4 times as expensive because the negative is 4 times the size, right? And so is the processing and everything. So it gets up there in expense really quickly. Now, to get back to the numbers thing I was going to tell you about, Toby Hooper mandated that if you want to take this job, you have to shoot it at ASA 25. Now, ASA and ISO are the same thing. So you have to worry about who recognizes that word. What I want to tell you is the digital cameras today, you cannot get them to go below 200. They do not go below 200. Not the amateur, not the prosumer ones, not the professional ones, not the cinema ones. None of them go below 200. Now, every time you double that number, you double the need for light. So 25 to 50 to 100 to 200, that's three stops, three times it doubled it, right? So that's 2, 4, 8. So I needed 8 times as much light for a given lens in an interior. I had to have 8 times as much light as you need today at the slowest, least sensitive you can make a digital camera. Now,
Wow.
that's the least sensitive you can make it. That's not where anybody shoots them.
Okay.
Shoot them at 800 ASA, 1600 ASA, 3200, and the latest one from Ariflex is good for shooting knife stuff at 6400 ASA. Now you take that 8 and you start going 16, 32, 64, 128, two fucking 156 times more light, right?
Yeah.
For a given thing. So that now, granted, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was an extreme, right? Nobody shoots at 25 ASA. Nobody ever has to shoot down that low. That was an extreme situation because Toby insisted that it be the finest grain film stock that was available so that the blow-ups would look any good. And as it is, the blow-ups were quite grainy, which I gotta say, for this subject matter, everybody likes. But
Right.
one of the reasons I digress down this whole path is that the lighting, because I didn't have a big lighting crew. I had one guy, two guys maybe, and
Yeah.
I had a couple of 2,000 watt lights. I mean, later on in my career, I started throwing around 20,000 watt lights, right?
Sure.
I had a couple of 2,000 watt lights. I thought I was badass. When I went to nights, they gave me two 5,000 watt lights and one 10,000 watt light. We call it 10K. And I said, I'm a badass motherfucker. We're going to burn Austin, Texas down, boy. Well, not even, well, we didn't burn the city down, but we did blow up the transformer the first night we were shooting
Really?
big lights. Yeah.
That's so
We were
cool.
tapping into the transformer to grab our power, and we blew it. We overdrew on it and blew it up at one
Oh,
o'clock, at
sweet.
whatever
Just
time it
cooked it.
was. We cooked it. It just smoked, and then we were done. We were done for the night. We had to
Yeah, to scatter.
the place. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God,
But
that's wild.
anyhow, what I want to say to you is that I couldn't do anything that we consider, sexy or creative with light. I couldn't like put it through silks to soften it. I couldn't gel it because all these things take away from the light. I needed every foot candle I could get out of those motherfuckers
Yeah.
to illuminate this thing. So what that does is it gives it a very documentary look. Now, there are a couple of exceptions to that where Leatherface is sitting there after he's killed the driver of the van, and he runs and he goes and sits there and looks and frets out the window like what
Yeah.
world's going. That's lit. That's lit nicely. That's lit for that shot, and not just to let's illuminate the room. That's just lit for a small area, right? And of course, I had an epiphany. I was a smoker at the time we were shooting the film, and I was out on the front porch smoking a cigarette at night, and two two vehicles drove down the dirt road to the house, one after the other. And when the first one cleared my view, I saw the headlights of the second one in the dust that was kicked up for the first one. And I went, oh my God, holy fuck. That's how I'm playing. The hitchhiker comes back and meets the older brother when he's got Sally in
Ah,
the
cool.
pickup truck on the way back, right? Now, as I told you, I had a very low ASA sensitivity film, so headlights didn't work. Now we have with headlights, yeah. Even on the remake, I just use headlights.
Yeah.
29 years later, I just use headlights for the headlights. But on that picture, I had to put, you can't see it because there's no front light on it, but I had to actually rig a 4x4 of lumber to the bumper of the pickup truck and then rig lights onto that. So right in front of the actual headlights are 1,000 watt spotlights,
No shit.
film lights there that I've spotted in a little bit so they feel a little bit like headlights. Now, I also knew for this to work that I needed to have the dust kicked up because I needed the dust for the light or otherwise there was nothing to catch the light. The light would just so I needed the dust. So I told Edwin Neal, I said, listen, man, can you do me a favor? I said, I need the dust. So when you're down there groveling and running, just keep shaking that bag around on the ground.
Yeah.
You just as you move it in your feet, just scuffle, just keep shaking it up so you're
Oh,
stirring the dust up, which he did for me.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Oh, see,
that's
all
one
those
of
little
my
tidbits.
that's one of my favorite shots, and of course, um, you know, my work on the finale is also something that I'm very proud of, and of course, can't forget the swing, what was known as the under the swing shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I just every boy's dream, as far as I'm concerned. What a beautiful shot that
Thank you,
is.
thank you.
Oh my God. So when you guys were doing like yeah the end scene there and we see the chainsaw dancing with just the colors in the sky and just everything. I mean, was that just like a perfect formula or like just a perfect my God, it all just worked out
It
or
was it
was
was
it
it was a perfect um, bit of luck.
yeah.
All right, what happened is I don't know if you ever seen a picture. There's a picture um, that probably a lot of people seen of us shooting the finale. And in that picture, you see Marilyn is jumping into the pickup truck.
Yeah.
I'm behind the pickup truck. I'm standing with a camera. The boom man is hiding a lot of my face, but I'm on camera on the right of that frame. People can search for it. I'm sure they'll find it. It's the finale, and there's another cameraman kneeling down on the left. We're both handheld. Well, thank God I was handheld because if I was on a tripod or a dolly, we wouldn't have the finale that we
Yeah.
have today. What happened was Marilyn jumps into the pickup truck. Gunnar is limping back to try to get to her.
Yeah.
She goes by. He swipes right. He then wanders out of my frame, camera left. Right. I don't go with him because I know there's another cameraman over there.
Yeah.
And and I wonder why aren't they yelling cut, right? How come nobody's yelling cut? And then I hear like, and I can tell that the saw is getting nearer and further from me by the sound. And I turn to my left, and here is Gunner dancing in the sunset. We played a sunrise, but it actually was sunset.
Yeah.
And and I go dance with him. And he always referred to it as our pas de deux, our dance that we do. He's doing a lot more than me, but I am getting nearer and further from him.
Yeah.
And what I want to tell you is that at the very last picture frames of the film is when he takes out about 2/3 of the frame with the saw, and they were certain that he hit me at that point. And they yelled, cut, 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 and they came running in, and they were like, "Where did he get you? Where did he hit you?" I go, "And he didn't hit me." And I said, it's fucking amazing. It is so fucking cool. Because no, you see, in those days, there's no video assist. And so nobody else, nobody could see it. Nobody else could see it
Right.
at the time. So they just, you know, for not for handheld work, but for some stuff. Well, Toby, a couple of times, he was very concerned about what it was going to be, seeing what the actors were doing handheld. He might have operated one or two takes himself.
Hmm.
But then he would normally be like, if we were on a dolly or tripod, he'd be sitting right next to the other side of the lens. From the back of the camera as a cinematographer, you're on the left side. Your assistant tends to be on the left side as well. The right side, in the old days, the director would be there with his head right next to the lens, so we could see things as close as possible
Sure.
the way the camera did. I love that. That's the way films. I wish they were made that way again today. Okay, because what happens is now, okay, not only the director, everybody in the world has more idea what's going on
Yeah.
photographically, and there's some gain to that, right?
Yeah.
But what's happened is now the director's in a video village. He's off someplace away from you. You're right there with the actors, right?
Oh, yeah.
As a camera, you're the closest person on the crew to the actors. You're there with the camera,
Mhm.
right? You're right there. The sound man's there. The mic, the guy, the boom man on the mic is there, but you're right there, right? Well, at cut point, right? The director now is off someplace in black cloth tent, with a big monitor with who knows how many people that are, found their way into the friendship of
Yeah.
this inner circle that you have to now, as a cinematographer, excuse me, to get in to talk to the director, right?
Sure.
And then the director then is some will come out to talk, but some will give a note to somebody under an assistant director or ask for the actor. Well, in the old days, the three important players were right there: the
Hmm.
director, the cinematographer, the actors, the cinematographer, right there. So when you cut the camera, if there was any conversation, it was quick, it was easy. Nobody else even had to hear it or know what was going on. Okay, we're just going to do another one. You just quickly, yeah, whatever. That I miss that about the process, right? That's
Yeah.
what I miss about. I'm not one of these guys that says it's got to be film because film looks better. Film does look better. There's no doubt about it. But practicality of making a film, right?
Yeah.
We're making fewer and fewer films. And they cost more and more. And time and money are the same thing in filmmaking. They are absolutely the same thing. If we have more money, we just arrange to have more shooting days. We buy ourselves more time to make the money, to make the film. We might, if we have more money, we might get equipment that lets us go faster. We might hire a crew that lets us go faster so we can spend more time making a better film. But they are the exact same thing, time and money.
Yeah.
So having a camera that's more sensitive to light, having something that a procedure that is quicker, there's a lot to be said for that because in the end, it's look, I don't of course I'm a lifelong cinematographer. I'm basically other than two music videos that you talk about that I wrote and directed. I'm not either one of those things. Um, but uh, you know, uh, I understand that in feature filmmaking is the story, right? If people
Mhm.
don't give a fuck about the story, they're not going to watch the film, right?
Right. Right.
And then, okay, now if you got a story that they're a little bit intrigued with, then the performances have got to pull them in. If the performances suck, then that's it, they're out. So it's only if those two things are hitting that you have a chance as a cinematographer. So, it's about making a good film. And that's what's most important, right? And look,
Yeah.
look, you can see me now. Look at how I made the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Well, because I first of all, I was 23 years old when I shot the original. I was 3 weeks out of getting film school, getting my master's degree. Now, I had worked for a year shooting training films. And in fact, a training film about an intravenous user drug bust for the Texas Department of Public Safety was what got me the job to shoot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was a film that we made, and we were they're breaking down the door of an old apartment, coming in at night where all the drug users are all laid out on the sofa and everything. The idea being that they pin everybody, slam them to the walls, to the floor, whatever, to catch the one person that's going to run to flush the drugs down the toilet, right? So
Yeah.
this is a demonstration of film. It's very sketchily lit, like it would be, just some, light bulbs, just very sketchy, and you can't really see what's going on. And we come through the door and they are slamming them with them, wham, pin this way, there, bam, 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 wham, as they throw them down there, boom. It's just and it's very violent. And then I take off running with I always refer to as the DPS linebacker. He's the guy who's chasing the, the running back with the drugs, right? You got to tackle that guy and get him down before he gets to the toilet. And they don't mind if his head goes into if his head goes first into the commode, they don't give a shit. Right? It's very violent. Right? And a guy named Larry Carroll, who was a very good friend of ours, and he was the director on these films, and he was applying for a job on the editing staff of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and showed that piece, and Toby goes, "Yeah, yeah, man, I have to imitate Toby whenever oh yeah, man, it looks good, but I need that cinematographer too. Who's that? Who shot that for you?" So that's how I wound up on
Wow.
yeah. Getting very
Um.
dark in the background here. Let me see if I can bounce some light back at my stuff.
Oh yeah, no problem. When you were shooting that, then too, did Perry Lawrence or Ed Gwynn have something to do with that? I've had both of them on before, and I remember them saying something. They did some local, PSA for like the county or something before.
Oh, previously?
Yeah,
Had they
was
worked? Well,
were they
here's
involved with any of
here,
that?
well, I don't really. I'm sorry. It's got. Let me. I got to give some light here to
Oh, no
background.
problem. Take your time, man.
Uh,
Yeah, we'll cut it right back over to here. So again, everybody watching, man. Appreciate everybody being in here.
I just
Don't
want
forget to get that merch
people to be
page,
able to see
baby.
a little bit of what's going on back there. Here we go.
There we go. That's looking
Got it.
good.
There you go. After all, I should be able to light shit. Okay, so Perry, I really I've seen him once or twice, at horror cons since, but I didn't know him before or after. In fact,
Okay.
I don't think I even had any words with him. I don't know that he came on set, he got in the pickup truck, and I don't know that he got out of the pickup truck. And since I wasn't really shooting him, I had no reason to
Sure.
talk to him about anything.
Yeah.
However, Ed Gwynn, in 1967, my brother was in his
In his band?
second year of law school at the University of Texas, and I was a freshman at the University of Texas. And I came down there, and the first thing that my brother did was get me high for the first time on marijuana. And then the next thing he did was took me to his favorite club in Austin, Texas, called the IO Club, to watch his favorite band, the Conqueroo, for which Ed was a member. Ed
Yes.
Gwynn is a member of the Conqueroo and an accomplished musician. Now,
Absolutely.
the way he wound up on Texas Chainsaw Massacre was he owned a truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and his brother or him and his cousin had literally the Black Maria trucking company, you
Yeah,
know?
they had the truck. And so, now, do you know where the name Black Maria comes from?
No, I don't.
You're going to want to know this, so will your
Uh,
fans.
Yeah.
Okay. In the old days, the film studios, they needed so much light. They equivalent ISO ASA was 2, right? It was really nuts how much light they needed. So they just put silks over they just had, the studios didn't have seal roofs. They didn't have lights bright enough. So they just put a silk over the top of a roofless structure, and that was their studios that they shot.
Okay.
Well, they were long and skinny for some reason, and so they named somehow it got the name of, well, okay, the Black Maria was actually the name of the paddy wagon in the UK. That's what they called the paddy wagon at that time.
Really?
That's true, yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
somehow the
cool.
shape of the studio reminded them of the paddy wagons, and so that's why they named the studio. Edison's first studio, right, was called the Black Maria, and
That's amazing.
that's why Toby chose it for the name of the film. It was not on the truck. That was not the name of the truck. It's a piece that we put on the side of the truck.
Yeah. That's amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah, most people don't know. That's why it's a bit of film history. That's why I tell it. That's
Well,
what
I
Toby
appreciate
knew it.
that.
Toby and or Kim, probably Toby. Toby knew, so that's why they called it that.
Sure. Um, question for you. So with onsite with the original, with you and Bob Burns and everything that he did as far as props and all of that goes.
Genius man, incredible man, and we would not have even had a chance to get out of the blocks without his work.
Yes, that's it's I've always said it's like there's the script, the filming of it, but what he did is he set the tone visually as well. On top of what you did as well. But just unbelievable. So I could imagine that he was very appreciative for how it came out. Due to your advisement and everything like that. Is there, do you have any kind of good stories with him of just on the set there?
Well, what what I can tell you is that he got a copy of the 1957 Life magazine that the Ed Gein uh, story was revealed to the nation.
Uh huh.
And he had that, and that was sort of the starting place for the production design. Now, somehow I recollect, I recently thought, fuck, as good as this movie's been to me, and with as much money as I've made off of this film, because even still to this day, the go to horror cons, and the first of all the fans. I mean, oh my God, they make you feel like when when I was 18 and decided I wanted to be a filmmaker, I go, okay, I'll make a film and maybe someday somebody will see one.
Yeah.
One day every fucking body will have seen it. I didn't expect that would happen.
Right.
That's the dream come true. You can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But, um, what was that? Burns, his, oh, so I was saying because of it's been so good to me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been very good to me twice, having
Yeah.
shot the remake. Um, that I figured, well, fuck, I ought to just buy myself a copy of this, you know, Life magazine. 129 bucks? What the fuck? Why not?
Sure.
I'm sure autographed by me. Once I pass away, it'd be probably worth, 3 or 4 times that.
Yeah.
I'm building a little, little something for a little nest egg for my daughter when I
There
do.
we go.
Uh, uh, but, what was I saying?
So with Bob with the lifetime
Oh
with
yeah,
the thing.
the Life magazine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I look at the Life magazine, I thought I remembered stuff that was more like our sets, and there's a little bit, but it's not as I remember our sets more. But I remember Bob telling us that he actually used arms to make armchairs, and
Yeah.
that he actually that he skinned. Not that he made masks for himself, that he made lampshades with the faces,
Yeah.
that he had a lampshade made out of the faces, which we also use the faces as lampshades around a dinner party,
Yep.
the dinner table. Um, so that, you know, uh, having seen that, I can say that Bob, took that and then made something even more amazing and photographable for us. I mean, there's a shot that they've just recently given me permission to make large enlargements of the film, frames of the film. They
Okay.
give me permission to do them and to sell them at the horror conventions.
Cool.
And they gave me a 480 gigabyte file of the film to pull the frames from.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I've got these frames, so I'm going to be putting together some nice art type um, frames. And so the first one I'm working with is Bill Vale, a character Kirk laid out on the table. Um, Pam is hanging in the background on the meat hook, and
Yes.
Gunner is off on the side, and he's got the chainsaw, and he's just about to cut into Bill Vale, and that just is such a to me that's just such a fucking incredibly powerful frame.
Pure horrific moment. I
I mean,
mean,
it's just without being crazy, without being simple, really. But it's just such a strong composition. And so every element in that thing is like, oh, fuck.
yeah. Yeah, just nightmare. Holy shit. Now when you acquired that, was that from Kim and Vortex or was this,
Yeah, that's
something?
from Vortex through Chase. Yeah, but
Gotcha.
Chase Anderson is the guy but yeah, they're really good. I mean, they're fantastic. In fact, I just sent them a congratulatory note to tell them Dark Sky and Kim, both
Yeah.
Kim and his son Ian, who's now very involved
Yeah, Ian.
and handling things, Ian Hinkle, to tell these guys just what a fantastic job that they've done to keep it out there and to keep it happening for us. Because with me, I went on to have a really good career, as you know.
Hmm.
Uh, not quite so much so for a lot of the cast members, and so it's just really good that they just keep it out there because that just keeps them in front of the, next gen, another generation, another
Yeah,
generation of fans. And that's really great for the cast members.
it
And
is.
I mean, the another thing I like about the horror cons is I get to hang out with the cast. Who when I first went to do a horror con, I hadn't seen some of them like in 40, maybe. Well, what was it? It might have been the 40th anniversary or I don't know, it was some anniversary that must have been more of that. I know Marilyn had passed away, but Gunnar was still alive. That would help people place when it would be. But to see them all, this is great. They like having me around because I bridge, you know, the film. And some of them, they're in for different scenes and they haven't been, so they can't answer all the questions that I can. So they like having me around for
Sure.
the Q and A's.
So your first appearance at a con then like that, I mean, was it just absolutely mind blowing of just the reception of fans and just like, good God, I mean, like you're all here for us?
Yeah, um, it was in Cleveland. Kenny, do you know the name of the Kenny is the promoter, really good guy, great guy. And uh, it's a creepy con. No, that's in
Yeah, there's so many of them. They're all
my apologies. My
yeah.
apologies. Anyhow, folks, those of you in the Cleveland area, they're tuning in. It takes place, I think, in February or March, and every year. And Kenny there, I'm sorry I don't have the name at the tip of my tongue. Very embarrassing. But
No, no,
when you get to be my age, there's a lot of names get dropped. And uh, but anyhow, Kenny rang me up and said, "Listen, man, we'd like to invite you." You know, to come to our it's
maybe it's Nightmare Weekend.
no, it's something to do with like something to do with B movies.
Mm.
Cinema Cinema Wasteland.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Cinema Wasteland. Kenny, I apologize. Fans, Cinema Wasteland. It's a
There we
great
go.
show there in Cleveland. Anyhow, he rings me up. He goes, well, we'd like to have you invite you to come this thing, we'll fly you in, put you up, feed you per diem. I go, no, man, people don't care about cinematographers. This stuff is all about the cast. He goes, well, you're a little bit different. And I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, not only did you shoot the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you are unique in that you're the only person in the history of cinema that has had a major position on a remake, and it's the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're not talking about sequels, but
Right.
it's original and remake. As far as the same film with the same title, I'm the only person in the world who did that. No one else, I was the only person on the remake that worked on the original. So I'm the only person in the world. He goes, so you're unique there. He goes, this is probably 4 years ago, or certainly it was before. It's at least two years ago. Um, He goes, you also shot the most recent of Friday the 13th. Like, yeah, that's true. And he goes, and not to mention your music video stuff. He goes, people want to speak to you. So I went, well, I'll tell you what, because I hadn't seen all the cast and they were all going to be there.
Yeah.
I said, I'll do it because I haven't seen them in a long time and it'd be great fun to see them all. And it was very successful for me. I did really well. I had a great time seeing everybody, hanging with them when we weren't, on the show floor. And I'm a storyteller. I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. In fact, when people line up in front of my table, I say, "Bunch up here, folks. I'm telling a story." And
Yeah.
by the time by the time it comes your turn, I'll be in a different story. So you might as well hear this one. Anyhow,
It's that it's the one thing I really appreciate about doing this show and getting guests on like this is that you know not all horror fans have access to these kind of conventions within their means of travel and whatever. So just to be able to these are these stories we hear at the conventions like this, so just to be able
Mhm.
to make this available for other people, it's really appreciated, and
Oh yeah.
you know,
Well, that's look, talking about appreciative. There's nobody more appreciative than us. Because believe me, I don't know what I would have. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre launched my career and absolutely responsible for putting me in the music video business,
right.
right? And I just have had and will continue to have a very good life. And I owe it all to Toby Hooper and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, really.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time that I wish I had a magic wand and I could just go around and just give every young aspiring cinematographer a credit like this. I said, I wish you could just have, you know, shot something that just everybody talks about, I mean.
Yeah. Oh,
And then of
absolutely.
course it happened for me again on Billie Jean.
Yeah,
When I shot Michael Jackson Billie Jean, that's considered the golden fleece of music videos.
100%.
Everybody just every artist. I mean, when I was shooting Ed Sheeran Thinking Out Loud, we were shooting on film. The director wanted to shoot on film. He never had, and they told him, well, you can shoot on film. The producer said if you like, but you're going to have to work with Daniel Pearl or somebody like him that knows how to do this. These young guys you're working with, they don't. We're not going to let them have their first chops on film.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
should be, you can have your first time on film, but not the cinematographer's first time on film. So anyhow, um, now Ed had made, I think, 3 or 4 videos by this point in time, and always done them digitally with digital cameras, which, unless you're doing something extreme to the coloring of it, it's what you see on the set there on the video on the monitor is pretty much what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Well, because in the Thinking Out Loud video, he's a ballroom dancer. He's ballroom dancing, right? And he's dancing it from start to finish. Now we're editing the piece, but every time we shoot it, he's dancing it through from start to finish.
Mm.
And I'm not operating camera. We have a steady cam, which is a gimbal, a gyro, spring-loaded and sort of balanced, not gyro, but spring-loaded, balanced handheld camera, so that the camera operator and I'm standing next to him telling him what to do, but so that we can run around and keep adjusting to find ourselves in the right place to photograph the next move in the dance. But each time it's all the way through the song, which is, I don't know, 3 minutes and 20, 3:30, 3:40, whatever, how many minutes it is. Anyhow, after the first take, we're in a big ballroom in the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles, probably about 150 or 200 feet long room, big room. Um, and well, maybe not quite, maybe about 150. Uh, uh, yeah, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe 100. It's about the size of a basketball court, but wider, I think.
Okay.
Anyhow, uh, he no, it's bigger than that. Never mind. Sorry, it's a big room. Doesn't matter. It's exactly the dimensions. I apologize for wasting time.
That's good.
So in that space, uh, he's far away from the director and the producer. In fact, they're behind hiding because of the monitors, because we're actually going 360 degrees around him in this room. So everybody's out of there when we shoot. So anyhow, um, they come in and they're sitting there and he says to me, "Oh, let me see. I want to see it." Right. Well, he's not used to seeing the video tap, the video that comes from a film camera. It's very degraded because you want the high quality image to go to the film. And so it's a very terrible image that looks nothing at all like the finished product. It's basically lets us see shapes so that we know if we've got things in the frame. But you would never judge lighting or anything like that with it. So Ed looks at it and a couple about 15, 20, 30 seconds in, and he goes, I need more light. And I go, no, no, you don't. And he goes, wait a second. I don't think you heard me correctly. He said, I'm telling you, I need more light. And I said, and I'm telling you, I'm not giving it to you. I said, you have plenty of light. He goes, no, no, no. People, this is a big deal. He goes, I had to learn this dance. He goes, I'm not a ballroom dancer because I'm a beer drinking pub guy, you know? And he says, I had to learn to do this. And I want people to know that I'm pulling this off, you know? I don't want, so I go, well, I'm not changing it. You're sufficiently lit, you know? And I was keeping it sketchy, but it's the way I like things, right?
Yeah.
So um, anyhow, he storms off at that point, and I see him. He goes across the diagonal opposite end of the room, and he's waving his arms like this, and he's pointing back there like at me. You know, he's going, you know, and
Uh,
I see him slow down. He slows down, and he puts his hands like this from behind. I see him, and he walks away. Right. So now I walk over there, and the producer and the director are laughing. The producer's an old friend of mine. She's laughing, and I go, so. I said, I'm sure he came over here to tell you that I have to give him more light, and I refuse to do it. He goes, yeah, he did. He's over. He's a fucking cameraman. He goes, I don't know who he thinks he is. You know. And I said, well, you know, they said, well, uh, wait a second. Oh, here's what it is. Sorry, I'm sorry, I had to pause to get the exact
You're good.
quote.
Yeah.
So he says to him, I don't know who this guy thinks he is. He goes, well, he's Daniel Pearl and he shot Billie Jean and you should fuck off. And he goes, you know
Yes.
what? You're absolutely right. And,
That's a little
and so
humbling right there. There you
that's
go.
that's that's the kind of weight that carries.
Oh, that's
I was
funny.
introduced to Justin Bieber one time. I wasn't
Uh-huh.
photographing him, but about 30 seconds later, he came back. He goes, Daniel. He goes, they just told me you shot Billie Jean. I have to photograph your hand for real. We got to shake hands again. We got to do it for real this time. Now that I know who you are.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, when you did November Rain, was I mean the concept of that? I mean that's not just a music video. Was that just crazy for its time, or was because where was that in the same line of like Thriller coming out? Was
It
that
was. Oh, it was way later.
it was way later,
Way,
right?
way, way, a decade later.
So like were they do you think like the mindset was like we're gonna do something like that, like a bigger, grander piece, and people are like you're crazy, or is it just
Yeah,
Axl Rose's idea, or
no, it was. Well, I'm not sure how much of it was Axl Rose's idea. Certainly, it was Andy Morahan's, the director. It was, a lot of it came out. It was his brainchild, and in fact, that video was so big that it was photographed by two of us.
okay,
Um, because the time period that they needed, Mike Southern, who did the first half, he was unavailable for the back half,
okay,
and I was already booked on something for the first half, but I could do the back half, so it's split. Mike did the concert and the actual in the church wedding.
yeah,
I did the wedding reception, the lead guitar, and everything else basically in there.
that's
Well,
awesome.
not the funeral. Mike did the funeral and the wedding, but I did all the other
So you had
bits.
Slash outside, out in the the desert, or whatever you want to just call it, the dirt
It's funny,
fields.
I mean, of course, I think Mike Southern's work is brilliant, and that's the other one of these. I think that Moon Man is for that. But they there's two things that people talk about all the time, and I was just in London at a horror con in Manchester, and stopped off in London to have a meal with Andy Morahan, the director
Cool,
of all those pieces, and another good friend of ours, Ian Patrick, the assistant director that we work with all the time, and Andy confirmed that I was right about the two things that people want to talk about all the time on November Rain are, I'll give people a second to take a guess. One is, of course, the lead guitar run because the lead guitar sequence, because I mean, there are some special shots in there. We shot it with the Steadicam, so it was
uh-huh,
one guy sort of handheldish.
sure,
I'm on one of these remote cranes, so I'm swooping in and around them when my take goes, and then we had a helicopter that came by, and the helicopter almost takes them out. I mean, there is one shot that is so fucking close, and it's used there. It's like, and that was it. I mean, we did it in sequence, like I'm the slowest in. So I'm loaded in ahead of time, right? And then once I finish my sequences, they could pull me back, and then the handheld or Steadicam guy was working in front of my setup. So we're tearing me out while he works. And as soon as he was done, then he walks out, and then we brought the chopper through. And so we film it probably three times for each of us. But in the third time that the helicopter's doing, it comes so close that we just go, get that fucking chopper on the ground. Do not come through again. Just get it down. It would be really bad form to to kill Slash. Indeed.
good. Could you
Uh,
imagine? Holy shit.
I
Um,
proposed something one time on a Michael Jackson video that not many people have seen called "Give In to Me." It is with Slash is also in that video. shot it in Munich, Germany, and I wanted to put some water tray. A crazy idea. We did, but they said you can't do it because the water trays up there is heavy, and if one falls, what if one falls and kills Michael Jackson? My response was, what if one falls and kills anybody? I'm cool with not doing it.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to worry about anybody more special about being killed than somebody else is. So I don't want to kill anyone.
I got one more good question that I'm really curious about as far as just your
Oh, let me
artwork.
tell you one. Let me wait. Sorry to
Please,
interrupt you. Excuse me.
please.
Let me because you asked about Bob Burns. I got to tell you one funny story about Bob Burns.
Yes.
In the sequence where Terry McMahon, Pam, where she falls into the room and she sees all the sculptures and the animals and the stuffed
Yeah.
animals and the chickens in the cage and that, right? It's hot. It's hot as hell. It's like, it's August in Texas. It's, in the high 90s or hundreds every
Uh
fucking, right? It's hot in there. And the chicken's in the cage and the chicken won't do anything. The chicken is just, and, and, and Toby is insistent that the chicken needs to be chicken. He wants the chicken to be upset when she crashes in there. It's the chicken
yeah.
or do something like that, right? And the chicken's not taking direction. The chicken won't move. And so we start figuring out ways to get the chicken to do something. At which point Bob Burns decides that we have dust off at canned air to clear the lens. And
Yeah.
Bob Burns goes, "Now you guys are probably going to try and shoot that stuff up the chicken's ass." And so and Toby goes, "What a hell of an idea!" And Bob Burns, "If you do that, I'm out of here. I'm taking everything with me." So it was a big struggle and a big fight about that. We couldn't. No chickens were harmed in the making of this film. I can tell you that. Several crew people and cast members were harmed in the making of this film, but
yeah.
no animals were harmed in the making of
Oh
this.
my god, that's so funny. Just Bob just seemed like, I mean, the most interesting man out there.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
no,
it's
he's fantastic. A big Rondo Houghton fan. He was, and he was just on a whole nother level
yeah.
in terms of his knowledge of the genre.
Absolutely. You just talk about real artists that are just out doing what they like. It's not for fame, it's not for whatever. It's just that's what just gets the guy and,
Mhm.
he just all the obscure stuff he did afterwards, and it's been really interesting.
Yeah. So you had another question.
Yeah, so on the cinematography side of it, just again personal curiosity, you know, when you're in charge of lighting, in scenes and things like this, I mean, there's only so much that you can speculate in advance. It's not like every set is built and you get to walk around months in advance and really kind of take your cues in that. So, I mean, is it you come into it with an idea, but really you're like a problem solver, all of a sudden here it is, and then you're kind of more on the spot. Okay, we're gonna do this and this and this, and is it a little more exhilarating and thrilling to do that?
For me, yeah. I mean, that's what I like, and that's what I'm
Yeah,
good at, right? And I am outstanding at that part of it, right? And the other thing of all this, preparation and planning and da da da, because what happens in the end is that then somebody takes and, oh, by the way, we're not shooting that scene anymore.
yeah,
When I go, but wait, my favorite idea of the whole fucking film is there. In which case, then I start to get in a fight with him about it.
yeah,
So that's why it's better to not, because that's the inevitable things like that always happen. Um,
sure.
so it's best for me, for Daniel Pearl as a cinematographer, and it served me well. But at the same time, you know, people don't, wouldn't ask me to shoot, you know, the kind of pictures that, um, oh, who am I trying to think of? A cinematographer, friend of mine, the guy who did the F1 movie, the guy who shoots uh, no, never mind.
Yeah, piss on it.
Sorry. The name's going to come to me in a couple of seconds. I'm going to blurt it out, but right now,
Yeah,
Claudio Miranda.
there we
The
go.
kind of pictures that Claudio does, Top Gun, those kind of big logistic movies, Formula One movie, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Nobody's going to hire me to that kind of stuff, but you know, um,
Well, I just think that
In
just being
fact,
able to
Dave,
create in the moment like that is just got to be. I mean, just to me personally, be so much more fun. Like you say, all of a sudden you're following. You're back to TC. I'm following him behind the truck, and where is he? And all of a sudden you cut, and just happenstance. All of a sudden, oh my god, the perfect set, perfect shot. And you
well,
talk the old
that's
school video where nobody else gets to see it.
right.
It's like, but just like when you're at Fleetwood Mac at that concert, they're shooting it.
Mhm.
Shit, I got this in the bag.
Yeah. It's like, the the thing about it is the fact that in music video, if you have like in commercials or a feature, you have a script and everybody's had those pages and that's just what it is. And if you come up with an idea, you better get the work that you're supposed to get done in a day done before you go off on any alternate ideas, or
Uh,
else the studio will see the footage and I'll go, what are you doing? Hey, you ran out 3 hours of overtime with some new idea we didn't authorize.
yeah, yeah,
Shoot, right? So they're monitored, they're watching you. In a commercial, right? And a TV show is even more so because they're on really time and money are the same thing. And on TV shows, right? They have very tightly scripted. Now, in a feature film, if you go over budget, there's a chance the producer might sell some more tickets. If you do something that puts you over budget, makes a better film. So
yeah,
you can talk a producer and well, we need a little more money. We need another day, or we need just a piece of equipment, but we're going to make you a better film. And a better film, you might sell some more tickets and make some more money. Now,
sure,
on a commercial or a TV show or a music video, the price was set when they agreed to do the job. Now,
okay,
if you make it cost more than that, then you're fucking up because you're eating up the profits.
yeah, yeah,
If you eat up to, and a cinematographer, because lighting is such a big thing, it certainly was in the old days when the cameras weren't so sensitive, right? We were the illegitimate child. Oh, it's always waiting on lighting, right? I mean, even the driver on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
yeah,
He's so used to hearing people bitch about lighting that he started that when we were talking at one of our other Q and A's about what was it like in the van, and he goes, "It was hot as fuck, and those lights in my eyes." At which point I started laughing. He goes, "Oh, you're laughing because the lights in my eyes?" I said, "No, I'm laughing because there were no lights in your eyes. You didn't have any lights. I don't know what budget you thought I was on." I didn't have any lights rigged on the car, driving around with a towing you around with lights on the car. You know?
right,
So, um, but you know, it's you know, it's for me. That's it's what works. I mean, like I said, on a music video, you could come up and say, um, we're supposed to shoot in down from this mountaintop in the valley. But on the other side, there's a fucking lightning storm going on, and all hell's breaking loose. Everybody go, fuck it, we're gonna shoot down there instead of here. I mean, that's because with music video, you just go do whatever's cool. And if
yeah,
something comes up that's cooler, as long as the artist agrees with that's what's cooler, then that's
yeah,
what we do. So that's great. I mean, and especially in the early days, in the 80s and in the 90s, it was expected that you're going to come up with something that's never been done before.
sure,
And that's always what we're trying to do is something that's never been done before. And, I was fortunate on the first double speed where the camera was run double speed and the track was run double speed so that when you played it back at normal speed, the track is normal, but the band, in this case, the police are
yeah,
moving in slow motion for wrapped around your finger, the video with 1,000 candles.
yeah,
That's how we did it. It's the first time it was ever done. Been done many times since. In fact, Mariah Carey now goes, okay, time to shoot the fast tracks, the double speed stuff.
yeah,
That artists they expect it because they know, like she knows her hair's gonna move beautifully.
sure, yeah.
She'll move gracefully with the slow motion spin on it, stuff like that. So it changed things quite a bit.
So with Missy Elliott, like on that side of it too. I mean, obviously she was so artistically, driven in the visuals on all that. Like, was
Not
she
yet.
a lot more involved?
Not yet. Not
Oh,
yet. I don't think.
okay,
Now, not with me. Perhaps with hype, but probably wardrobe wise
yeah,
and probably with the sets with hype, but not with me. In fact, I this is a good story. I used to shoot black color Polaroids, or if I was filming black and white, I would shoot black and white Polaroids with a manual Polaroid camera, an old one, not the Polaroid cameras like people are used to, but this one, you set the shutter speed, you set the f-stop, you set everything on. It wasn't automatic. And we had a chart, I made a chart for myself, and depending upon the settings I would put on the camera, when I got the picture I liked on the Polaroid, that then I knew how to translate that to what settings I would put on my film camera.
Okay.
So, and I would shoot these, and often they would look great. And um, the director would take it and show it to the artist. They'd always do it before the first shot, right? And the director would take it and show it to the artist. And the artist would go, "Oh my God," they'd be, "Wow." And then they'd be, boom, and they'd really hit, really, feel like, "Wow, I look great. This is going to be great." Okay, so they'd be
Yeah.
really into it. So they really give you a good, strong performance, right? So we were shooting on 35 millimeter film with a Panaflex, a big, top of the line, state of the art camera. Hype was very good about that. His visuals were very important to him on his videos. And um, when we went to lunch, and I came back from lunch, I must have got there before anybody else was by the camera. And then Missy Elliott shows up, and she comes to me and she goes, "Give me my Polaroid." I hadn't spoken to her. I said, what do you mean, your Polaroid? She goes, "Well, that Polaroid, that Polaroid I saw, you got to give it to me." And I put my hand up on the magazine of the camera, and I said, "No," I said, that what comes out of this camera, that belongs to you." I picked up my Polaroid camera. I goes, "What comes out of this camera, that belongs to me." Right. Well, um, her management wound up giving me $5,000 for that Polaroid.
Really?
She wanted it that badly.
Oh,
The
wow.
intention was to use it as a cover for the single. I don't know if they did or not, but
Oh, really?
that's what they said they wanted it for. But yeah,
Interesting. That's fucking cool, man.
it's crazy because there's a lot less work, but still photographers are actually paid more than we cinematographers are.
Really?
And it's our gig is 10, 20, 100 times more difficult than theirs.
How frustrating is that?
But yeah, they get more money than us. Well, this works out too, because sometimes Mariah would go, "You know what? I don't, this photographer I work with that guy, I don't really like him. Daniel will do the stills and you'll pay him that guy's money." So all of a sudden, I'll work with her all day long shooting a commercial at a very good salary.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, become time for the stills. They go, "Okay, and here's another 2.5 times your original very good salary to take a few stills for us." Crazy,
Wow.
those guys.
Unbelievable.
But nowadays, that's back when it was film, and now that we're digital, I don't know that anybody gets the big money that we used to get when it was film, because we were considered geniuses, right? You
Absolutely.
you at the end of a gig, you could send everybody home if you had one of the guys that were considered guarantees. You had one of about 200 of us around the world that was shooting for you. You guarantee that you're going to get this footage back, because when it was film, it had to go to the lab. And unless you were in a major city, New York or Los Angeles, the lab may have meant a couple of days. The very fastest you could see it was next morning,
Sure.
right? That was if you got done by 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., you could see it the next morning, right? But so that meant that they could trust us, and they could let the cast fly away. They could strike sets. They could let everybody go off onto different other gigs,
Yeah.
right? But if not, you had to hold the sets. You couldn't strike the sets. You had to keep renting the sets. You had to pay the cast to stick
Yeah.
around another day till you told them they could fly the next day. When if you wanted to hold them. So that was a very privileged time for us, because we were geniuses. We had, everybody had written a report, so they thought, "Well, I could write a story. I could write a script if I have to."
Hmm.
You know, everybody had decorated their apartment, so they figured, "Well, I could production design. I could make a set if I had to." Everybody had dated, so I could choose a person that I like. You know, um, but not everybody could take a picture when it was filmed.
Yeah.
They come out clear, sometimes they come out black, and so we were considered geniuses, and nobody would do anything until this is when you ask about which I like better, the old process or the new or
Yeah.
today digitally. No one did a fucking thing in the old days until we said, okay, here's the f-stop. Now you put the camera up on a tripod while you're lighting. The assistant keeps making that every time a light is added, makes changes the setting on the camera, the f-stop, to make that a reasonable image.
Mhm.
So, and consequently, there's something that's somehow less special about the moment that you roll. When it was 35 millimeter film, it was $1 a second for that fucking thing to run, right?
Yeah.
And that made people like $1 a second. You know, people you thought about that at $1 a second. That's if you're normal speed. If you're slow motion, it's even faster than that, right?
Yeah.
So, um, you know, and there was everybody was focused, really focused. Now it seems like people's attention it comes and goes. And of course, people might want to go check out something on their phone, and it just doesn't seem like there's really almost a crescendo of energy and coming together that I don't feel like is quite as critical a mass as it used to be.
Yes.
Um, when it was filmed.
I think that's a perfect word. It's not as critical because, like you say, it's just hey, we can't fuck this up too many times here. We've only got X amount versus
Yeah.
now it's just well, it's digital. It's just
Yeah,
whatever we can.
just do it, just do it, just do it.
Yeah. God, that's wow, man.
There's a tendency also now because it costs nothing other than a hard drive space, which is rented,
Yeah.
editorial, right? Because it costs nothing, that do it again, do it again, do it again, do it a million times.
Right.
That's that's terrible too because that that just wastes time and it's just diminishing returns. You're not going to get anything good out of a cast, especially if a cast member thinks they've given it to you, once or twice really well, then you're not going to get them unless you're really close with, unless the director's really close with them and wants to talk to them about something,
Yeah.
special that they're trying to get at. But it's
Yeah.
tricky.
Or like I see like comedy movies, just different outtakes of that situation. Them just throwing different kind of jokes in. Okay, sure, that
Yeah,
makes sense to, let's do 20 of them, see which one's the funniest. But
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, commercials are shot that way too because they just keep doing it because they'll scramble it up and see which way it goes.
Oh, God, that's interesting, man. I feel like I could talk to you all night, dude. You got the greatest stories. I think we should probably wrap it up here because this has been fucking beautiful, man. And if you're ever interested, I'd love to have you back on if you have a new project you're doing. I mean, TCM's new with A24. Who knows? Who might be calling you up to get the goat to come
Uh,
back.
I don't think I'll accept.
Okay.
It's funny, Edwin Neal,
Yeah.
his daughter's directing a movie, and his oldest daughter, she's been a writer. She was directing her first picture, and I was, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you had Daniel shoot your picture? And so we got together and talked about it. In the end, it was being done up in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Uh huh.
It had to be shot in Flagstaff because of the location, and I didn't realize Flagstaff was at 7,000 feet, and I was fucked. I,
Oh,
I went there on a preliminary scout because I said, well, maybe let's see if we can make this work out. I think there was
yeah.
something very cool about me shooting a movie for The Hitchhiker's Daughter, right?
Yeah.
I thought that would be something cool, right? But I was just fucked by the altitude and came to the realization that I don't think I need to go get all those headaches because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Fair enough, man.
And especially as the guy basically who controls the machine that captures the images and captures the film, um, you're the one that's expected to keep it on schedule, and doesn't matter who makes it go off schedule, unless you're going to throw away scenes. The cinematographer is the only one that can put it back, get work to get it back on schedule.
Sure. Well, man, I appreciate the hell out of your time. I can't thank you enough. And I know everybody who's been watching this has just been saying story after story. This was amazing. again, I'd love to have you back on at some point if it ever made sense, you know. But if not, dude, this has been beautiful, and I think we'll wrap it up right here, man. Is there any
All right,
last?
well, folks, I'm going to look at the camera
Yeah,
now. So I've enjoyed talking for you all. I haven't fielded any questions for you, but maybe we will. You know, maybe we will get back together and do a question and answer one.
absolutely, man.
Let the audience participate in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I was being selfish tonight, everybody in the chat, but fuck off. It's
No. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see what they come up with
hundred
as
percent.
well.
All right,
Yeah.
Daniel Pearl, everybody, the fucking man himself. You have a good night, and everybody
And,
else, we'll see you next Friday too.
and of course, is this on YouTube now to where I can download it, or you're going to send me?
Yep. The live stream's there. I'm gonna edit it right after this, and I'll upload it, and I will email you over the link to that, and
Okay.
you'll have it.
I,
And if you want the actual video file too, I can find a way to send you
I
that
would
too.
like the original files.
You got it,
Um,
man.
So I don't need a lot of quality on the video. You can bring the video quality down so it's not crazy to send to me.
Sure.
Okay. I
All
mean,
right.
some people send me 5 gig, video files. I go, no, I don't need 5 gig video.
Well, that's where Gilly comes into play, man. He's the co-producer and he's the wizard and all the technology side of that.
Okay,
So he'll
cool.
help me downsize
All
it.
right. Well, just I'll come bugging you if I don't get it before too long. So,
Hey, you
all right,
got it,
man.
man. It'll probably be in
All
your
right.
inbox later tonight. So,
All right. Cool.
all right. Have a good
I
night,
enjoyed it,
everyone.
and thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Daniel. See ya.
In the vast expanse where the cosmos sighs drifts an ancient tale as old as the skies, a figure from stories now mythified. Space Corpse goes orbiting by. He once roamed planets, oh far and wide, but now he floats where the starships fly. No more breath in his chest, yet can't be denied the space cadet who died. Oh, Space Corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space Corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. No anchor to worlds, just space to bide. Gliding through stardust, no need to hide. This wanderer who never cried. In weightless silence where time collides, he drifts in dreams so amplified. Mysterious tales on mystic rides. Space Corpse haunts so dignified. Oh, Space Corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space Corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. A spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space Corpse goes orbiting by.